Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh by Shem Yahushai, by Shem Kakadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. It's your brother Shamarnia here again today, and I just want to go into a little bit of a lesson, basically going into the dietary law, and you know how Christians, they'll try to twist what Paul said to fit the narrative that they could now eat anything and not follow the dietary laws that which Moses have gave to us when we were leaving out of Egypt. But when you actually get the full understanding of the scriptures and go into it, the law was never done away with, and still to this day we have to not consume unclean animals, you know. So the first precept I want to bring out is I'm gonna start at 1 Timothy 4. I'm gonna start at verse 1, and it reads, "Now the Spirit speaketh expressively that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils." Verse 2, "Speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their own having their own conscience seared with a hot iron." Verse 3, "Forbidding to marry and commanding to abstain from meats which the Most High have created to be received with thanksgiving of them which believe and know the truth." And this is going into, here is Paul is writing a letter to Timothy, and this is the fourth chapter. Paul says that the Spirit speaketh expressly, and that in the latter days some will leave the faith and teach corrupted doctrines. You see, with that doctrine of devils, and then when it goes into giving heed to seducing spirits, speaking lies and hypocrisy, one of these lying teachings is that you can't get married, which we know that us in the truth that sex is marriage, and that you have to abstain from meat, and some people, because we tell people not to eat pork, crab, shrimp, lobster, some people will try to use this scripture when we tell Jake to stop again eating pork, lobster, shrimp, crab, that we fit this scripture, and they'll try to use it and say that it's okay to eat pork as long as you pray over it, or any unlawful animal that it's okay to eat, but that's false. 1 Timothy 4 and 4, and it reads, "For every creature of Yahweh is good, and nothing to be refused. It is be received with thanksgiving, for it is sanctified by the word of the Most High and prayer." And basically so Paul is saying that in the last days, it will be men going around, teaching you should abstain from meat, which Yahweh created with thanksgiving. So we will have to think and understand that Paul said he believes, all things that are written in the law and the prophets, during his trials. That's what he said, and he teaches Timothy that sound doctrine is all things that are lawful, and that anything that is unlawful is sin and is against sound doctrine. So with that in mind, we know that we were commanded. We were given commandments on what to eat and what not to eat. So going into the law, the dietary law, Leviticus 11. This is Leviticus 11 and 1, and it reads, "And the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying unto them, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, These are the beasts which ye shall eat among all the beasts that are on the earth." And basically, Yahweh is about to give the list of clean meats to Moses and Aaron. Verse 3, "Whatsoever parteth the hoof and is cloven-footed, and cheweth the cud among the beasts that ye shall eat." And this verse is given So like this verse gives the description of the clean meats that we can eat as food, and anything opposite of this description, you know, is unclean meat. I mean, well, not unclean is an unclean animal, and you're not supposed to eat it. Which it's not food. Um, Verse 4. Nevertheless, these shall ye not eat of them that cheweth the cud, or of them that divide the hoof, as the camel, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof, he is unclean unto you. And it gives you, it's showing you an example of a clean animal, a clean meat. The camel, it is not food. So, um, continue to read on. Yeah, we can continue to read on. And the coney, because he cheweth the cud, but divide not the hoof, he is unclean unto you. And the hare, because he cheweth the cud, and divide not the hoof, he is unclean to you. And the swine, though he divide the hoof, and be cloven footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you. So it's basically giving you the unclean meats, well, unclean animals that we're not supposed to be able to partake and consume. So all you niggas hunting down south that eat rabbits, or raccoons and possum and shit like that. You need to stop, because you're transgressing when you're doing that. We're not supposed to eat such things like that. It's not benefiting us, especially pork. Verse 7, read verse 7 again. The swine, though he divideth the hoof, and be cloven footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you. And this is basically again showing you that pork is unlawful to eat. Verse 8, and it reads, of their flesh shall ye not eat, their carcasses shall ye not touch, they are unclean to you. And this is going into, we're not even supposed to be touching, the dead bodies of unclean animals, because it make us unclean as we continue to go into the law. So the meats that were sanctified by the Most High to be received, meaning to eat, are the things that Yahweh outlined it in his Levitical law. You see. Going to verse 9, and it reads, these shall ye eat of all that are in the waters, whatsoever have fin and scales in the waters, in the seas, and in the rivers, them shall ye eat. So they're basically going into the creatures in the sea that have fins and scales, you are allowed to eat, but not all fish, because not all fish have scales. Verse 10, and it reads, and all that have not fins and scales in the sea and in the river, of all that move in the waters, and of all, it's like it, and of anything living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination unto you. So again, anything that doesn't have fin and scales, they are an abomination. So you shrimp, crab, lobster, you eating that, you need to stop. And because ultimately, this is why Jake has diabetes, gout, and other health problems, because they don't want to change their diet. And then it's actually scientifically proven that once a crab dies, his body starts producing toxins. So why would you want to even partake into something like that and eat it? But Jake, you can't tell Jake shit. They don't want to they don't want to change their diet unless they come out and find out that they got type 2 diabetes and damn near got to get their leg amputated. Then they want to try to change. Even still, you still even got some Jake that's I don't care. They just continue to eating pork after receiving news that they got diabetes. But we're here to bring this information out, this truth out. Um, verse 11, Leviticus 11:11. They shall be even an abomination unto you. Ye shall not eat of their flesh, but ye shall have their carcasses an abomination. Whatsoever have no fins nor scale in the waters, that shall be an abomination unto you. And it's like it. So again, you can see that Yahweh is telling you to not partake in these sea creatures and try to consume them. Verse 13, and these are they which ye shall have an abomination among the fowls. They shall not be eaten, they are an abomination. The eagle, and the ostrich, and the osprey, and the vulture, and the kite after his kind, every raven after his kind, the owl, the nighthawk, the cacao, the hawk after his kind, the little owl, the cormorant, the great owl, the swan, the pelican, the gier eagle, the stork, the heron after her kind, and the lapwing and the bat. Um, so like yeah, so basically it's giving you going to like verse down. Now it's going into like the birds that you cannot eat, and these are the things that we cannot eat because again they're unclean animals, they're unclean meats. Verse 20, all fowls that creepeth going upon all fours shall be an abomination unto you. Verse 21, yet these may ye eat of every flying thing. It's like it. Yet these may ye eat of every flying creeping thing that goeth upon all fours, which have legs above their feet, to leap withal upon the earth. Even these of them ye may eat, the locust after his kind, and the bald locust after his kind, and the beetle after his kind, and the grasshopper after his kind. And this is going into how this is talking about the insects you can eat, because we have stories of being able to eat locusts. Continuing on, but all other flying creeping things which have 4 feet shall be an abomination unto you, and for these ye shall be unclean. Whosoever toucheth the carcass of them shall be unclean unto evening, and whosoever beareth aught of the carcass of them shall wash his clothes and be unclean unto evening. Verse 26, the carcasses of every beast which divideth the hoof and is not cloven-footed, nor cheweth the cud, are unclean unto you. Every one that toucheth them shall be unclean. And whatsoever goeth upon his paws among all manner of beasts that go on all fours, those are unclean unto you. Whoso toucheth their carcass shall be unclean unto evening. So again, verse 28. And he that beareth the carcass of them shall wash his clothes and be unclean unto the evening. They are unclean unto you. These also shall be unclean unto you among the creeping things that creep upon the earth, the weasel and the mouse and the tortoise after his kind. So again, this is going into how you are unclean after touching the carcasses of these dead animals. You see, and then we have practices in customs of how to deal with something like that, and that's what it's going into. Verse 30, the ferret and the chameleon and the lizard and the snail and the mole, so it's again giving you more unclean animals of something that we're not supposed to consume. And it reads, verse 31, these are unclean to you among all that creep. Whosoever doth touch them when they be dead shall be unclean unto evening. Verse 32, and upon whatsoever any of them, when they are dead, do fall, it shall be unclean, whether it be any vessel of wood or raiment, or skin, or sack, whatsoever vessel it be, wherein any work is done, it must be put into water, and it shall be unclean unto evening, so it shall be cleansed. And this is basically going into the that how you got plates, forks, spoons. They're unclean if it touches the carcass of an undead animal. You see. And then when you go into why it says, when it gives the examples of raiment, skin, wood, sack, is because these things are made up of material that absorbs. So, like, to lack of better terms, so, the essence of that dead animal would um, be absorbed by the wood, the raiment, the sack, and the skin, because these things have pores, you see. Um, Continuing on, of all meats, I think, oh, 33, and it reads, in every earthen vessel whereinto any of them falleth, whatsoever is in it shall be unclean, and ye shall break it. Of all meats, so basically 33 is going to like clay pottery. You have to break it. Um, Verse 34: of all meat which may be eaten, that on which such water cometh shall be unclean, and all drink that may be drunk in every such vessel shall be unclean. And this is going into if a beast dies of natural causes, and a person touch it, they are clean. So now, after bringing all of this out, I want to go to Colossians 3. Okay. Colossians 3, I'm going to start at verse 1, and it reads, and if ye then be risen with Hamashiach, seek those things which are above, where Hamashiach sitteth on the right hand of Yahweh. Set your affection on things above, not on things on the earth. For ye are dead, and your life is hid with Hamashiach in the Most High. When Hamashiach, who is our life, shall appear, then shall ye also appear with him in glory. Mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth: fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscences, I believe I said that right, and covetousness, which is idolatry. For which things sake the wrath of the Most High cometh on the children of disobedience, and the which ye also walk sometime when ye live in them. So, and this is going into, so Paul says, because we receive, we're going to receive the resurrection, which is those new bodies. We have to mortify the members of our flesh. And then, as you can see in verse 5, one of those things that we have to mortify is uncleanness. You see? Salakia. So with one of those things being uncleanness, that is unclean for us to eat. The unclean animals, because it was given to us to sanctify us. That's why when you go to, you can get that precept when 1 Timothy 4, it goes well with I'm gonna just go back to it. First Salaki, I don't know what the hell that was. I'm starting 4, and it reads, for every creature of the Most High is good, and nothing to be refused, if it be received with thanksgiving, for it is sanctified by the word of the Most High and prayer. You see? And then when you go to Leviticus, So like it, my spelling is all messed up today. Leviticus 11. Thought I spelled it right. I'm going back to Leviticus 11. There you go. And you jump all the way down to 44. Okay. And it reads, "For I am the Lord, Yahweh, your power. Ye shall therefore sanctify yourselves, and ye shall be holy, for I am holy. Neither shall ye defile yourselves with any manner of creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. For I am the Lord that bringeth you up out of the land of Egypt to be your power. Ye shall therefore be holy, for I am holy." You see? And this is why we are supposed to, mortify ourselves, because we are set apart. We are supposed to be holy. That's what because when you go into the word holy, that means separate, to sanctify. We are not supposed to be partaking into such things as eating unlawful meats or animals. So if you out here eating abominable animals, pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, then you're not mortifying the members of your flesh, and because of that, you would technically be a child of disobedience. And also because of that judgment of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua will come upon you. And to back up my point, when you go to Isaiah 66. Isaiah 66, I'm going to start at verse 14, and it reads, "And when ye see this, your heart shall rejoice, and your bones shall flourish like an herb, and the hand of the Lord shall be known towards his servants, and his indignation towards his enemies. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree, in the midst, eating swine's flesh, and the abomination of the mouse shall be consumed together, saith the Lord." So again, you out here eating them things, eating them abominable animals, them unclean animals. You're going to be judged for that. We're not supposed to partake in that. Just because you see the heathen nations act like heathen nations, we're not supposed to partake in that. So next precept I'm gonna bring out is Matthew. Starting at verse 5, all the way down to 17. And I'm bringing this point out because, again, what I said earlier in the lesson, you'll have a lot of Christians thinking that Yahweh Shah came because he came back and said this, that we're allowed to eat abominable animals. But again, a Christian don't really know shit. A Christian don't know the scriptures. So I'm gonna just get into it. And it reads, "Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill." And again, you can see Yahweh Shai said himself that he did not come to destroy the law, but to fulfill. And the reason on why he said this is because it would be foolish, to think that he came to destroy the law and the prophets. When it tells you again in later chapters, and even in the New Testament, to continue to keep the law. Now again, because you're gonna have somebody out there, but we're not saying that we solely depend on the law for salvation, because we have to have faith in Yahweh Shai. But that doesn't still mean that we're supposed to disregard the law. Verse 18, and it reads, "For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled. Verse 19, and it reads, Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. And breaking this down, so all these Christian pastors that's saying that it's okay to eat abominable animals, you're lying, and you're going to be called least in that day. And this is this verse right here is cutting all the New Testament people that says Paul said that the law is done away with, and you don't have to do the laws anymore. And it reads, verse 20, For I say unto you that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and the Pharisees, ye shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. And this is basically going to Yahushua said this because not only did the scribes and Pharisees not believe on Yahushua, but they tried to twist laws so that they can keep their own traditions, trying to find a loophole in the law. And that's what a lot of Christian pastors do today in this time, you see. So you Christians, you're gonna have a judgment for trying to twist the words, Next precept, I'm gonna go to Matthew 15, and I'm gonna start at verse 7. And it reads, Ye hypocrites, well did Elias prophesy of you, saying, This people draw nigh unto me with their mouths, and honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. But in vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines of commandments of men. And when Yahushua said this, he was speaking on the scribes, the Pharisees, and the leaders and the elders of the people, which this goes hand to hand to again 1 Timothy 4, because these people were teaching the doctrine of the devils, that they were being liars and hypocrites by teaching this doctrine. And he called the multitude and said unto them, hear and understand. Not that which goeth into the mouth defile a man, but that which cometh out. But that which cometh out of the mouth, this defiles a man. So people will read this and they'll say, see, we can eat pork, but they don't understand that Yahushua was speaking against the traditions and doctrines of man, the commandments of men. And so what was going on here is that the scribes and the Pharisees, they were trying to rebuke him and his disciples for not eating but not washing their hands before they ate. So basically they were calling them defiled for not washing their hands, and that is what Yahushua spoke against. He wasn't speaking against the dietary laws, So continuing on, verse 12, and it reads, Then came his disciples and said unto him, Knowest thou that the Pharisees were offended after they heard this saying? And he answered and said, Every plant which my heavenly Father hath not planted shall be rooted up. Let them alone. They be blind leaders of the blind, and if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch. Then answered Peter and said unto him, Declare unto us this parable. And Yahushua said, Are ye also yet without understanding? Do not ye yet understand that whatsoever entered in at the mouth goeth into the belly, and is cast out into the draught? So again, when it's talking about, when it says whatsoever enter at the mouth, meaning food, clean animals that we're allowed to eat, because in the law, clean meats are food, not the unclean animals. Verse 18, but those things which proceed out of the mouth come forth from the heart, and they defile the man. For out of the heart proceed evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornication, thieves, false witness, blasphemies. Verse 20. These are the things which defile a man, but to eat with unwashed hands defile not a man. So it can playing upon that. Yahweh Shai is saying that to eat with unwashed hand, with unwashed hands defile not a man. That is what is meant. Eating with unwashed hands don't defile you, but the things that come out of your heart, which meaning your mind, that is what defile you. You see. So after reading this, it's clear that Yahweh Shai or Paul didn't say that it is okay to eat unclean animals. That is a doctrine and a lot of Christians came up with, because they don't understand the Bible. And Yahweh Shai was teaching against the doctrine of men. So to say that the law is done away with just so you can eat pork, crab, and lobster, you basically you're calling Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai a liar when you say that, and you're gonna be judged for saying that. You're gonna be put to death for saying that. Let's see if I got another precept. I think that's it. So with that, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Makakodash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. I hope this lesson was edifying. Shalom.